Hey, welcome back. I hope you guys have a great holidays, good Thanksgiving with friends and family today. It's the new day back, a new week, and we want to talk about Push's private animals, spirit animals. I'll have him tell
It
you
is.
what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, excited to be back. And yeah, I'm excited about this book today too, because this is like one of those hidden gem books that I found that I
Hmm.
would recommend to anybody. It's a short book. I loved it. And it was like handwritten for me, I think. So this book's called The Lion Tracker's Guide to Life by the author Boyd Vardy.
Hmm.
The book's about Boyd, who is a lion tracker, and he's also a life coach. So he grew up in like the South African bush, and he grew up on a like a safari, kind of place. So he spent a lot of time out in the African bush and tracking animals and being with the trackers and things like that. And and he finds a lot of similarities in life to tracking, as to the quest that you're on in your own life, and he draws
Right.
the parallels between the two of being a life coach and also being a tracker, and kind of how to track your own life kind of thing, and the ingredients for living a meaningful life. And it's a great book. I really enjoyed it. But uh, I'll go ahead and share the reflection now. So this particular reflection title is I don't know where I'm going, but I know how I'll get there. This is actually a quote that I think that you and I have said many times along this journey, and this is kind of the inspiration of it.
Hmm.
For me, like this is one of those ideas that is stuck in my head and will never leave. To be honest with you, like I say this all the time, and it actually it makes a ton of sense in my head these days. So what is that? What do I mean by that? So this particular book, I found this book, I feel like, at the perfect time in my life. As you know, and as anybody else that's followed along this journey knows, um, uh, as of right now today, it's been almost 2.5 years since my daughter passed away,
Right.
and as of this writing and finishing this book, it was about 6 months ago. So it was another like 2 years ago. It was about 2 years into that process at that point in time, and we've talked about this, but the day after, we came from home from the hospital on April 22nd of 2020 when Emilia passed away. My wife and I, we had just gone through a lot, and our family had just gone through a lot, and we had just lost our daughter and left her at the hospital after she had passed away after like 4 or 5 days of really traumatic post-traumatic surgery complications to her that ultimately took
Hmm.
her life. And on that particular morning, she passed away around 5 a.m. and we left the hospital. I feel like we got home around like 7:30. We hadn't slept, in days, and we had just watched my daughter take her last breath in my wife's arms, and yeah, when I mean, we were just devastated. And we walked into the house, and I just don't think we had anything left in us. And we literally just, I remember just falling into our bed, and both my wife and I don't know, we woke up like just passed out, like just from exhaustion. And I feel like we woke up sometime around like 1 o'clock or something like that afternoon.
Hmm.
Um, and I just remember when I woke up, like I couldn't think of anything. Like my brain was just wiped. Like I could not, like, I had no thought in my head at all. I mean, and I don't even know how to describe that. It just, like, I was just like staring at a wall. And after a couple hours of this, like, my wife and I were both just sitting there, just I don't know what she was thinking about, but I know what I was thinking about, and it was literally nothing. Like I don't know, like my whole entire brain had been wiped or something like that. And eventually I snapped out of it a little bit after she had passed, a few hours after she had passed away. And the only thing that got me out of that was the thought of Amelia, and it was the thought of how much she fought and how much she endured, and like the singular thought of what would Amelia do is all I could think about. Like I was like, that's it. Like she wouldn't give up, she wouldn't quit, she would endure. And I just watched her live an incredibly short but a meaning purpose filled life, and she taught me so much, and I knew that I owed it to her to get out of bed, and I was like, this is what Amelia would do. So that moment was the moment that this really this year magical learning journey started. I forced myself to go read something, to go do anything, to go write a little bit in my journal to her, and to try to do much as I could to help my wife on that particular day, and get out and take a walk. And yeah, from that moment on, I've spent the better part of the past, I after reading this book, like what I've realized was like that was the first track that I got from Emilia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the value of endure at that point in time, and that was I feel like she just left it there for me to say, like, hey, go, I don't know, we don't know where we're going, but like just follow this track, we'll get through it. And I spent the better part of the past 2 years just following Emilia's tracks. So that's what I do with her every single day. That is living for two for me. It's like I feel like I just continue to chase her around, and she leaves me a nice little value somewhere, and I go find it, explore it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
spend time together, and then I keep chasing her. And as you know, like lions have always been like this spiritual animal for me. I've always, it's always been something really near and dear to my heart. Like the cover of my book is the mural from her nursery.
Mm-hmm.
The three little lions all together, and her code name in the NICU was Lion, and her first stuffed animal, the little lion from the safari of the head of neonatology at Riley Hospital for Children. He posted safari photos all over the hospital, and one of those photos, and right across from her bed she was in the lion room. Like, I mean, I don't know, she was just a lion. She was always a lion, and
Mm-hmm.
I always thought of myself as a lion, but really, actually, these days, I actually think I'm a lion tracker, and I'm just chasing her around,
You could be a lion and be a lion tracker as well.
that's fair. But no, I don't think I'm a lion anymore. I think Amelia is the lion. She always was the lion, and that doesn't mean that I don't love them. That doesn't mean I don't think they're my spirit
Well,
animal.
I still think you're a lion
Well,
because it's a lion family. You can't be not a lion and have a lion daughter.
that's fair. But yeah, no, like I the reason why this title is so relevant for me is I
Mm-hmm.
really don't know where we're going, but I know how I'll get there. I just keep following Amelia's tracks, and spending time with her and finding more values along the way.
Right.
And we'll get where we get to. I really have no idea where we're going. But I definitely know how I'm gonna get there. I'm just gonna keep following Amelia as long as I possibly can. And that's living for two for me. And I've never been happier just chasing her around. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the Lion Tracker's Guide to Life and my reflection from this one. And the question is are you keeping your eyes open for your first track? And what is that? So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I think this is such a powerful concept, just because we don't know the future, but we know we're on the right track. So this concept is not really new in terms of this book, because we
Right.
look back at the first book that we've read, right? The Alchemist. So what
Right.
did the Alchemist say? Look for the omens.
Right.
So the thing is, if I ask you today, okay, you don't know where you're going, but I'm asking you, do you think how you do you feel, or do you think that you're on the right track?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Exactly. So that's what we know. To
right.
me, that's exactly what we know. We don't know what the future holds for us, but we know that the next omen, the next sign, the next thing we come across, we know these data point collects, and it makes more sense as more footprint is being
Right.
collected, being tracked. So that's what I'm saying is you and I both know, right, that we'll get there because we are on the right track, right? Because we know that, hey, this feels right. So the only thing we need to know is what's my next right thing that I need to do,
Right.
right? What's my next footprint that I need to collect? As long as you collect that, you don't know where the track gonna lead you, but you know you're on the right track. I mean, I don't know if it can make it any simpler than that. It
Right.
just, you know in your heart, in your head, right? You are on the right track. You did the right thing. It feels right to you. Whether, like I said, back we saying it, you're a beaver, you have the dam, you're an eagle, you get a sword, whatever it is that you do, it feels right. And so to me, this is such a powerful concept, just because that most people get confused about, okay, I don't know the future, and I don't, have no idea what's gonna come. So I'm going to do things that is, whatever, whatever. When somebody is throwing me some kind of a sign or some kind of influence, I go with them. I don't decide for myself whether that is fitting with my core value. Does it feel right with me versus what this is how society is? A lot of time we're talking about, going to daycare, and your parent, you're talking to other parents, they don't like the daycare and they don't send their kids to daycare, but they say, well, that's how it is. That's this
What
life,
it
right?
is.
And
Right.
that's the problem is you have these
If it doesn't feel
um
right, it's not right. Like it's if
yeah,
you're not,
if it
you're
doesn't
not
feel right,
right.
it's not right. It's not
Right.
your, you're not the, I mean, you're not looking at the line's footprint. You look at some other footprint. I mean, if you're a line tracker, yeah, you look for a line footprint. You're not looking for a gazelle footprint or a hippo footprint or elephant footprint, right? And that's what I'm saying is, your core values and you know what feels right to you, right? And so having that concept is you don't know, and no one does, right? We don't know shit. I don't know shit. You don't know shit. We don't know the future. What the future holds for us, we don't know, and that's the point. But the thing is, the opposite of that is we know whether something make us feel in the right place or not, and that to me is the most important thing. And like I say, it's something that you have to watch out for the omens. You have to look out for the sign, and those signs is going to give you a feeling of yeah, I'm in the right place, or no, I'm not.
I agree. I mean, I mean, it's all about like being open and receptive and watching, because there's always tracks being laid everywhere, right? Like
Yes,
in
but so there's line tracker, there's line tracks, and there's hippo track, and there's
right,
gazelle track. What are you tracking? What you're tracking has to
yeah,
resonate with what you value,
right,
right? Because you can say, hey, I can pick up endure, right, from your daughter, and your daughter leaves you this endure footprint, and you pick it up. Or you can go and pick up somebody else and, hey, this is grit or rice grind and
right,
repeat or eating the frog or whatever.
right.
You can pick up those as well. But which one is the right footprint? Which one is the right omen for you? And so that's what I'm saying. It's important for us to know, do we feel right about this or we don't? And in order for you to understand and feel the right feeling, you need to know what is the footprint. When
Right.
you have to know what a line footprint looks like, right?
Yeah,
Because
right. Well,
just
that's what
because,
the author says that in the in the book. He was like, if you um where is it? Where oh the he talks about if you don't know where to begin to track a lion, it's like just look for any first track and begin. Like, I
uh-huh,
mean, it doesn't have to be some crazy, like, for me, like I like when Amelia left her first track for me,
hmm
I could have sat around for, I don't know, I had every right to sit around and wallow in misery for as long as I damn well wanted to. I just lost my firstborn child, like,
hmm
but the thing is you got to start somewhere, right? Like, and when you see it, you see it. You got to be open to these things. Like, you were just talking about daycare. Uh, we went to this grandparents' day on Wednesday, last
hmm
week, Thanksgiving, and it was such a good community of people. And the daycare is the daycare is called the Little Lion Daycare. Um,
hmm
and like, even just thinking about this stuff right now, like it's like Amelia even let him there. Like I have no idea how we even got into this daycare. I don't want my son to go to daycare, but I have no idea how we even got into this daycare. It's the perfect place in theory, right down the street from our house. It's at a Catholic grade school, like, great community of people. It's called the Little Lion Daycare. It just opened up, like, and now has a massive waiting list, but like we happen to know the right people and see the right stuff, and was able to get him into this tiny little daycare for us. So Amelia's trying to tell me it's gonna be okay. Like, he's gonna be fine. She's watching over him. I know it's really
hmm
sucks, and I don't really want him there. And I know there's other ways that we could do this stuff. And like you were saying, like, it didn't feel natural for the first couple weeks, and I was fighting it. But like, once again, you got to be open to the, listen to the omens, right?
right.
Right. We started this with the Alchemist at the beginning, and you only catch tracks when you're focused, right? Like when you're locked in, when you're on the trail and you're looking for the trail.
Yeah,
Like you can't.
you gotta be looking for it. I mean, you gotta
Right.
be looking for the omens. You gotta looking for the track, the footprint, the sign, whatever it is that you're looking for. You have to be open and receptive of the sign, because if
Right.
you just blocks it out, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's under right, right under your nose, you still won't know it. I mean, you just don't. I mean, you don't see what you're not looking for. And so if
Exactly.
you're looking for a sign, I mean, there's signs everywhere. And that's the thing is, um, having the ability to know that whatever sign you get makes sense to you. You see, a little line daycare, right? Makes sense to you. You go there,
Right.
because if you see something else that doesn't make sense to you, then it's not yours. It's not your track. Um, but that's the thing is, we, I mean, that's one of the things that people don't understand is, people are trying to like predict the future, trying to blame some, deity that, life is going to be like this or like that. Life is what you make of it. And no one knows what the future holds. Future, like you and I keep saying, life could leave us today, tomorrow, tonight. Um, so we don't know what the future holds. But each of the omen, each of the sign that we see and observe, and it makes sense to us, we just follow that path, and that path will lead you to where you need to be. Like you say, you don't know, I don't know where I'm going, but I know how I can get there. Just follow the track, and I will be where I needed to be.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And for me, like it's changed everything. Like as I said, I've told you this, and I've told anybody this these days. Like I don't set goals anymore. Like I mean, I just don't like, and I don't mean that in like a, it's wrong to set goals or something like that. Like I just don't know where I'm going. Like I don't know what goal I would even set at this point in time. The only goal that I set is to try to spend as much time and following my daughter's tracks
Mm-hmm.
as I can. And we'll get to where we're going, and I don't know where the fuck that is, and that's okay. I just know that if I'm
And
with
that's the
her, I'm
point. No one knows. No one
right. Right.
knows where you're supposed to end up, right? Because
I can't even believe that we're where we are right now. Like, where you and I are talking to each other, like the company that I work for now and what I'm doing every single day. I just got off a really meaningful conversation with one of my employees right before this, it like I have no idea how I got here, like, and that's okay. Like I don't need to know. Like we're just keep going, and keep having these conversations with you every night, and keep reading more and more books, and keep writing more and more reflections, and keep learning, doing stuff with my daughter, and we'll see where we get,
yeah,
and
just find the next clue. And that's what I'm saying is, if you collect the first clue, the first footprint, right? Then you collect the second one. Well, how does it make you feel? And like you're saying, you just had a great conversation with your one of your employee, um, right? It feels good. You did the right thing.
right,
That's my point. Is that you know whether or not you're on the right track. You don't know where the track gonna lead you to. Whatever the destination is, you don't know, and no one does.
right.
But you know, and you feel, and you think you're on the right track. I mean, those are your guides. It guides you to say, okay, am I on this particular track, and is it the right track? I mean, it's the right track for me. Only
Right.
I can tell, versus somebody else is on their own track.
The
No
100%.
one, no
Yeah.
one knows the future, and that's a given. No one knows the future at all, but we do know whether something that we have, like right now, at the moment, right now, we have these data points, these footprints. Does this footprint resonate with you, or it doesn't? That's all you can do.
Stay focused on that, and you'll keep and take it step by step, bird by bird, like track by
Bird by
track,
bird.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over again, and but it matters. And don't sometimes don't look up. Like just keep looking down at the ground and finding the next track, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
I wanted to finish this with saying the Year of Magical Learning book cover is going to be, me tracking my tiny little lioness through the African bush. When we're done with
Yeah.
this is going to be the book cover. And I'm cool with that. But yeah, just
It sounds really good. I really like that. Just it's it represents what we have been doing in the past, year and a half, or 2 years. We are
Yeah.
basically tracking. You and I have no idea where this is going to lead, but we know that we feel right
Right.
when we are reading books and talking about our lessons we've learned, and we are growing, and we're just tracking, this lioness that went before us, and
Right.
just giving us tracks, and we just follow her. And to me, like I say, it feels right to me. It feels like I'm on the right track. I think I'm on the right track. I feel I'm on the right track. And so that's all that matters to me. I don't really know what the future is gonna hold, and doesn't matter to me. I don't really care.
100%. So unfortunately, we have to have an abbreviated one today because of other things going on. But that was a great conversation. Thanks for tuning in. And a question we can leave for you all is: are you keeping your eyes open for your first track? And if so, let us know what it is. And we'd love to learn more about it. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, and we will see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Good night.